Hi, thank you so much for tuning in. This is Shauna with Live the Season Life. I hope this is your new favorite food and lifestyle space. And I wanted to share with you something that I do every single week. I'm about to do it right now, and I decided, you know what, why not bring you along? So if you're interested in hearing about my weekly reset and the specific steps that I take to reset my week and get ready for the week that's coming up, I want you to stay tuned. And if you haven't already, please consider subscribing. I would truly appreciate it. Today we're talking about weekly reset, and for me, weekly reset happens on Sunday. And I've shared with you my routines that I keep in my planner, and my routine for Sunday in particular is my Sunday reset that you will see right here. Now, reset may happen for you on a totally different day. For me, it's Sunday. For you, it might be a Wednesday or a Tuesday. Just choose the day that works best for you. And that is the day for me that I close out my existing to-do list, I prep a new to-do list, I mark priorities on that to-do list, and then I scan the next 2 weeks of my calendar for any surprises, and I also scan my year at a glance for any surprises, things that I want to make sure to keep in mind or be abreast of as I continue through my week. I have my planner here. You all have seen this a number of times, and I will link down below my playlist of planner videos so you can get caught up on what this planner includes and what it entails. But when I'm doing my weekly reset, the first thing I do is go to my to-do list for the previous week. And for me, I keep my to-do list in the same place where I keep my daily checklist. And this is my to-do list. It is scrappy, it is handwritten, because whenever I think of things that I need to do, I will grab whatever pen that I can and I will jot it on the to-do list, and I will deal with it whenever I have time to deal with it. Now, for me, I have 26 items that were on my to-do list. Some of these, I will admit, I just added as recently as yesterday, and I added them so I wouldn't forget them when I'm doing my planning for the upcoming week. So looking at this to-do list, I've noticed that I have checked off 12 of these items, so I'm going to give myself credit for that. But what I need to really identify is what are the items that were on my to-do list, not just this past week, but the week before. And that item for me happens to be following up with my HVAC guy. And you have seen in a previous video of mine that I've been dealing with my HVAC guy. It will get resolved, trust me. So this is something that I specifically want to highlight for myself because it's something that's been on my list for more than 1 week. I've shared in a previous video, which is in my planner playlist, how I deal with recurring task list items and how after the second week, I gotta make a decision. Either I need to delegate it, outsource it, delete it, or reschedule it altogether. So the HVAC follow-up is something that is going to be recurring for a number of weeks, unfortunately, and I'm just gonna keep it on my to-do list until it's done. One of my subscribers provided a comment with an idea for how to deal with those recurring list items, and I appreciate that so much. Thank you so much for commenting. I'm going to adjust it and have a brand new list that I have that's just for recurring items. So as I prepare to build my new to-do list for this week, I'm just going to have a plain, this is just a simple half sheet. You can use any kind of paper you want, but this is the size paper I prefer to use for my to-do list. And I'm going to start by labeling it to do, nothing special. And I'm going to start by indicating what my recurring items are. Because my list of recurring items, thankfully, is fairly short, I'm going to create a special box. And as you see, nothing fancy. I just drew a box on there. And I'm going to put HVAC follow-up as my recurring item. So that is something I'm going to keep separate. I like this idea of keeping the recurring items on a separate list, but I want to make sure I can keep up with it, which is why I didn't put it on an entirely separate piece of paper. The only thing I'm going to do for my to-do list for this coming week is to write in all the things that I didn't get done this past week. Okay, there, I've written everything down. So what I have here at the top of my list, these are all items that were on my list from last week. These are items that I need to make a decision about. Do I want to delegate them, outsource them, delete them, or reschedule them? So I can actually get some of these done. The items below the list, these are new items that I happen to have added yesterday. So these are items that I can just deal with as I would normally deal with my to-do list items. Let's deal with some of these second week items, okay? I'm not gonna go through all of them in detail because this is my business, but I will say that some of these items, like the consignment shop, for example, that has been on my to-do list since last week. It's something that I need to do. I have a box of items I need to take to the consignment shop. So I'm gonna schedule that one so I can hold myself accountable to actually getting it done. And when I look at my upcoming week, I think that I will have time, on Thursday. Thursday is gonna be my day to go to the consignment shop and get that specific item done. So I'm gonna write on here the date for Thursday when that particular item is going to get done. Another item, for example, library pickup. I have some books that I need to return to the library and some books that I need to pick up. I happen to know that my neighbor goes to the library several times a week, and because she and I have a really good relationship, it would be really easy for me to delegate part of that task to her. So the books that I need to return to the library, I can just give her a call and ask her if she'd be willing on one of her upcoming trips to drop those items off at the library. So that can actually relieve the headache for me of having to at least get those items back on time. So I'm putting my neighbor's name with a question mark next to that particular item, so I will be reminded to ask her if that's something she'd be willing to do as a favor to me. There's another item on my list, which is replying to a volunteer agency that we were investigating for my daughter. And I think I'm gonna just delete that item altogether because based on the nature of the conversation, there was no need for me to reply unless I was planning on going forward with that particular opportunity. So I'm just gonna delete that and decide, you know what? I'm not even gonna reply. And because I know the nature of the conversation, I'm not being rude by not replying. So this is how I'm dealing with my to-do list items. I'm going through and all the things that did not get completed last week, I'm identifying which ones need to be delegated, which ones need to be deleted, what needs to be rescheduled, what needs to be outsourced, so I can figure out how to get these items done and off my to-do list. Additionally, I'm keeping track of those items that just came up on my to-do list in the past day or so. So that's how we start closing out our to-do list and prepping the new to-do list. One of the things on here is scanning the next 2 weeks for surprises. And what I'm gonna do for that is look at my month at a glance and scan it for the next couple of weeks to see if there's anything in my upcoming weeks that I want to add to my to-do list. So as I'm scanning through, I see that I have a bill that's due on the 20th. So I'm gonna make sure to add that to my to-do list so I don't lose track of that particular item. Additionally, we have a family birthday coming up on Thursday. So I wanna make sure that we have the cake and the balloons and all the things in place for that birthday because it would be really bad if we didn't have that together. A third item happening next week in particular is Oreo moves out. So we are taking care of one of our friends' bunny rabbits while they are off vacationing in Costa Rica. So their bunny Oreo has been with us for the past week and a half. And at the end of this week, the bunny is going to be moving back home. So I need to add to my list to confirm when the rabbit is going to move out so I can make sure that I'm home in time to help them with lifting the crate and all the things to make sure that Oreo gets home safely. Or I can delegate that task to my husband and make sure that he's home so that when our friends come over to retrieve their bunny, there is a responsible adult here to help manage that process. Aside from that, on the following week, we have a special appointment with my daughter's gymnastics coach. So I want to make sure that I have everything in place for that. But thankfully, that's 2 weeks out from now, so I don't have to worry about it immediately, but I do want to keep it in mind. The next thing in my routines list is to look at my year at a glance to figure out, is there anything coming up on a longer term basis that I want to make sure to keep track of? And as I look at my year at a glance, I can see that coming up in about 3 weeks, I will be out of town. So I want to be mindful of that. Also, I need to make sure to remind my husband to change the HVAC filters. And I see that it's almost time for our annual family cookout at my aunt's house. So I need to reach out to her to find out what specific items she wants me to prepare for that weekend. So there's nothing here that I feel like for my year at a glance that I need to add to my to-do list, but at least it keeps it in mind for me. So I'm not caught off guard when my aunt calls me and asks me where the red velvet cake is. Okay, so we're almost done here. My Sunday reset, I've closed out the last to-do list. I've prepped the new to-do list. I have scanned the next 2 weeks for surprises. I've also scanned my year at a glance. The last piece, which is really important, is to mark priorities on my new list. And the way that I do that, it depends on the mood. Sometimes I mark it with a different color pen. Sometimes I use a highlighter. It just depends. I think today what I'm going to do is put a big star next to it in green. And the priorities that I have for this week are: 1, my daughter's other volunteer assignment. I want to make sure that I have everything in place for that. The next thing is there's a proposal that I need to write that's due on Wednesday. So I want to make sure that gets done. And then also that large bill that I have to pay on the 20th. I want to make sure that's taken care of as well. So I've just marked with an asterisk there the top 3 priorities. You know, it's very important to keep in mind that not everything can be a priority. And when you're identifying priorities, try to keep it 3, no more than 5, because otherwise it can get really overwhelming. So keep your priorities to a minimum if you can. The fewer the better, so you can really prioritize and put all your energy into those items so that you can get them done at the level of excellence that you know that you're capable of. So that's it. That's my Sunday reset. I'm going to take my old to-do list. It is done. I can keep it and archive it if I want, or I can recycle it, whatever I want to do with it, because I have my new to-do list, which captures my recurring items that were from last week that didn't get done, that need to get done this week, or managed in some other way. And then also my start to my to-do list for this coming week. So I hope that's helpful to you. Comment down below. Do you have a reset process? And if so, when is your reset happening? Is it on Sunday like mine, or is it on a Wednesday? Is it on a Thursday? When do you typically sit down and reset your planner for the coming period? Thank you again for watching. I truly appreciate you being here. If you got at least one thing out of this, I do hope that you would consider subscribing to this channel. And until the next time, I will see you later. Happy planning.